We do have some breaking news here as it pertains to the Mets, BT. More on the coaching changes.
Okay, what do you got?
Anthony DiComo of MLB.com, who covers the Mets. Sources, the Mets are going to have a major coaching shakeup. Among those who will not be on next year's staff, pitching coach Jeremy Hefner, hitting coaches Jeremy Barnes, and Eric Chavez.
That's a massive shakeup.
Those are all, and this is
Pretty
on top
everybody.
of
Yep.
Gibbons.
Yep.
Really, it
Third-base
seems
coach.
like the only one who's staying is Richardson at first base.
Yeah, and he's the only one who probably should.
At least for now.
I mean, they didn't get thrown out stealing since June.
Hefner's the big one here because he's been here a long time and he's well respected and looked at as a plus pitching coach.
Interesting.
This to me is the right move.
I think they need a shakeup, man.
Yeah, just clean house. But now, see, I feel like it's always going to be a collaborative effort here. Stearns and Mendy together, and I guess I'm okay with that. I want Mendy to have some say here, not just we're going to put all these other pieces around you and then you go be the manager. It's got to be a collaborative effort with the idea that Mendy's going to be here long beyond this year, not just as a lame duck head coach, as all these moves are a warning shot to him. Something needed to be changed. Clearly, a lot has been changed here with the Mets now.
Yeah.
Almost everybody out. Third base coach Sarbaugh, out. Gibbons, out. Hefner, out. Chavez, Barnes, out. All but basically Mendy and Richardson, as we say, it seems for now are safe.
Do you think that they go outside of the organization at all?
Yeah, they're going to have to.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
4 managers just got whacked. Now, I don't know if Melvin or Bochy's not coming to be
Ron
second
Washington.
lieutenant. I mean, that's the move that you have to explore. You have to get one of those guys next to Mendoza.
Yeah, I also would want Willie, though. I keep saying Willie because
I love Willie, so I'm easily sold on Willie Randall.
And he's also close with Mendy, or at least I think that say that again, Hoff?
There's already a name being floated out.
Oh, for what?
For being
Wally Backman. That's what I want.
Good God.
Get back on that train.
Honestly, they should go for Bochy, but they have somebody in-house that I believe that's already going to get a nod to come up here.
Who?
JP Arancibia, who's down AAA.
For what?
I think bench coach.
I'm not doubting the story.
I already heard that.
I'm not doubting the story. You got to get a veteran. Get Yoda. Get you Don Zimmer. Get somebody that knows the game from every angle.
That's what I believe.
The bench? That's
what
weird.
I thought I saw.
I don't like it for the bench. I mean, I'm not going to I'm sure he's a good baseball man.
Look,
the bench coach has to have some sage
Yeah.
experience. I don't know. How old is he, Huff?
But if that's the case, though, then why are you going for a young manager? Like, if the bench coach has to be this experienced guy, then why are you getting a young manager?
Well, because then you get the best of both worlds. You get the youthful presentation from the manager, and you get that wisdom from the bench coach.
Wasn't Carlos Mendoza the bench coach for the Yankees for all those years?
Right,
He was.
But
he was young at the time.
To Hoff's point, why not just hire Bochy to be the manager? If you're going to do, like, if you want an experienced
Well, they
guy.
should, but they're not.
Yeah, well,
Bochy's not coming to be number 2.
I would think Bochy's going to go to the Giants. It seems that that's the case. They
Maybe.
fired their guy. But anyway, who can't worry about Bochy or anybody like that.
Interesting.
I don't even care who it is, because what are we talking about here? Bench coach, third base coach, like you got a $15 billion payroll, and I'm going to worry about blaming Mike Sarbaugh because the Mets didn't make the playoffs. No, it's on the guys, but this is going to be a fresh start, which they needed. I don't care who the names are, as long as they are picked, at least in part, by Carlos Mendoza. That to me is imperative.
That's less important to me, but the fact that it's going to be in terms of Mendoza picking up, but the fact that there's new juice, new blood, you need that. Now, again, it's always going to be Boone, Mendoza. It's always going to be the central figures, Mike Brown. But if the third base coach was better, you'd probably win 3 more games.
Yeah.
And then you're probably in the playoffs.
He was
So
awful.
it matters.
Yeah, I mean, also if Pete Alonso could throw a baseball or catch one, maybe they win a game or two and find themselves in the postseason.
I heard that there's also a vacancy in the pitching lab.
Don't be a jerk. See, this is come on now. He's it's a bad joke.
Tough.
You give the bad jokes, and then BT doesn't get him, and then I got to clean up.
They got to be funny to laugh.
That was a great joke.
I get it. I mean, Hoff is generally a funny guy, and that was a little flat.
You were waiting on serious stuff, and you could see the look at his face where he's got that I got another name for you.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh, there's an opening in the pitching lab. No, come on, Hoff.
I could have. Now the groundwork is laid here, okay? So if he has a rough year, he's out. And he's out probably midseason. When was the last time? I mean, would it be Art Howe or, one of those Bucky Dent or Dallas Green or Stump Merrill from a Yankee perspective? When was the last time a New York baseball manager, Yankees or Mets, was going to be judged so critically in April and May? Think about that. Boone has always been about the postseason. Buck didn't have that pressure and that stress there. Willie didn't have it early. Remember, he got whacked out west at 2 a.m. That dopey move by the team at that point, which was weak. I mean, Mendoza is going to be on the firing line if they don't play well right away. That's going to be the theme.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it wasn't the case with Girardi. We knew the Yankees wanted them out eventually, but they let it ride out. They get to Game 7 of the ALCS. Boone has been on some hot seats, but maybe that's more from us than in reality.
And never in April, which is my point.
Yeah,
we're
talking about, like, this is not a fan saying, hey, this is this is the hierarchy saying, if not just flat out the owner, basically saying, and he hasn't said that, but we know the reality.
Didn't have to.
Exactly. Didn't have to. He doesn't get the job done. Mendy's going to be on the outside looking in rather short order. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure it's happened. Buck in 2022 had great success. 2023 was bad. Then they decided to move on, and there were different reasons for that. Stearns came in.
Yeah, sure. But again, early to start a season. Like, you go to Port St. Lucie, February, the theme is, all right, what did the Mets do to change the roster? What did the Mets do to get better? What did the Mets do to change the mojo?
I don't know, and I don't know if that's a healthy...
I don't think it is. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, I don't... Now, again, Stearns, I know, loves Mendoza. And I don't know this from talking to Stearns. I know this from watching Stearns talk. Like, he's the one who hired him. There's good reason to believe in Carlos Mendoza. I truly believe he's a really good baseball guy, smart man. I think they just got caught up in the raised expectations, team not having enough. So there's a combination of a lot of things what went sideways this year. Team raised expectations, not ultimately having enough as far as the pitching staff goes, getting tighter and tighter and tighter as the losing kept continuing and just didn't find a way out of it.
And also making some bad moves. Got to incorporate that. But I know you know that, but we have to say that.
I think a part of why he made the bad moves is because he was tight. Like, to me, he was going too by the book. That's not what made Mendoza. Mendoza was loose, easy, and free a year ago.
Yeah.
That's what made him successful. He wasn't worried about being criticized. He was going by his gut, his baseball moves. And when you're doing that in year one, he didn't know any better. Maybe he didn't know any better because it was his first time managing, so he didn't give a crap. He was being himself, whether it's against the analytic department or what, he was being himself, and it was working. Then when you have that success, now all of a sudden it's, hey, there's a bullseye on you here, meaning the teams are coming for you, the expectations are raised. You've got to go win a World Series is the expectation, and that can naturally, human element part, BT, get into you and start impacting how you operate. And I think that that's exactly what happened with Mendoza.
I got a really important question for you. What do you think the tone is, if any? I mean, it could just dissipate. There's no issues with Lindor and Soto next season. Is that going to resurface? Is that going to be a story?
When you say
just
tone,
the way is it going to be a story? Forget about tone. Is it going to be a storyline? Because that crept into the season this year.
Well, I mean, it was a story.
So is it a storyline next year? And if it is, I would imagine it would be louder and worse if it's still there.
I don't believe it's going to be louder and worse. First of all, whether they love each other or whatever, it doesn't even matter. Like, what matters is the results on the field. Now, if their relationship was impacting the results, and which I don't believe is the case, then something would have to be done about it. I don't believe whether I would trade Lindor. I don't believe the Mets are going to trade Lindor. I'm not so sure somebody would take him. I'm not so sure he would accept the trade. I don't think the Mets have the gumption to do it. I would. I don't think they're going to do it. So let's assume Lindor and Soto are back. I don't think that it's this big, they can't figure it out. I do think it's on everybody, those two guys, the manager, the other players, to figure out how to maximize everybody's ability and get the team playing together and loose and having fun.
See, one thing I worry about, like, if you're not going to change the manager, which could change the energy and the morale and just the feel, and you're not going to be able to radically change the players outside of having a few better pitchers, which they have to, like, where does the transformation come from?
Well, just because they can't trade Lindor doesn't mean they can't radically change things.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, but if Pete's back, I mean, that's big money. But
there's no guarantee that he's back.
That's what I'm saying. If Pete's back, that's big money. Soto's big money. Lindor's big money. Obviously, Diaz can opt out, so that could be big money. Nimmo's going to be a contract that's going to be very tough to deal. All the things you and I have talked a lot about. I don't know. I mean, is it going to be a Kyle Tucker? Is it going to be a Bellinger flirtation? I don't know. I'm not saying there's none. Yeah, Schwarber is one. I'm not saying there's none, but it's going to be interesting to see what power. Last year, the power move came with Soto in terms of a great hitter. What's the power move for an upgrade as a player, but also a guy who's going to, I don't know, enhance the chemistry? Could be. Well, I'm not worried about the chemistry. It matters this year. They didn't have good chemistry this year.
Yeah, but that's not. To me, that's not why they lost.
Well, I'm not saying that's why they lost, but it certainly didn't help them ending the losing streak or getting right.
Why would that be a thing before getting, I don't know, a pitcher?
Well, no, that's why I say you could have multiple new pitchers, and McClain's going to be a starter from the get-go.
Maybe they trade him.
But so I think that they've got to trade McClain.
Yeah, why not? I'm saying if you could get Paul Skeens and trade Noel McLean, you wouldn't do that?
Of course you do.
Yeah,
you do it
that's
for Skeens.
so I'm saying I'm thinking big picture.
Wrecking ball, which is what I said.
Well, what I would be doing is looking for the best options out there, obviously in the rotation, that aren't going to cost you $200 and $300 million contracts. So to do that, you're going to have to give up prospects. Vientos, Beatty, McLean, Spro, Tong, Jet Williams. I don't care who they are. Now, this is on Stearns to identify who they value. Obviously, he didn't with Gilbert, trade him to the Giants, whatever. They have to identify the ones that they believe are keepers, whether it's Benj in center field eventually, whether it's Jet Williams at second. I don't know. McLean maybe untouchable, whatever. Or use those guys to go get Alcantara or Skeens, or maybe Skeens a pipe dream. Obviously, he's not. Really.
I don't know. I mean, is he
saying,
going to sign a $500 million deal in Pittsburgh? Probably not. They're going to trade him at some point.
I'm saying that a lot of people just be like, well, you can't trade McLean. You're not trading Tong. You're not trading Sproat.
Yeah. Well, then you're not getting Skeens.
Whoa. Correct. So you need to, and there aren't just the dominant free agents.
No.
Nor would I do that.
There's not this year.
You can't just do that every single year. That's not a recipe for success either. So they're going to have to make significant trades. McNeil, Vientos, Nimmo potentially. I floated Lindor, potentially letting Alonso walk and maybe replacing him with Kyle Schwarber's bat. There are a lot. John Harper wrote about that.
I saw that.
Yeah, so there are a lot of possibilities here. I wouldn't worry about the chemistry now when they still haven't even constructed a team yet.
It's interesting too, the different spotlight. After the 23 season, the spotlight was different. New manager, new energy.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was fresh and it was new, and the Mets played, they gave their fans a really good season. This year, coming in, the spotlight was, all right, you guys were almost in the World Series. You got Soto, and now it's a different focus. Now it's an even different focus, okay, how did you repair whatever the hell happened in 2025? So it's not going to be with 3 or 4 new coaches or one new arm. It's going to have to be a lot, which is why I said a wrecking ball. When I look at what the Mets
they took a wrecking ball to the coaching staff. That's
a start. Yeah. That's a good start. And I remember you and I said this to you the day after the Mets season. So that Monday, I said, listen, I don't care if you got $20 billion in the bank. Your tolerance for being embarrassed is low. When you get to Cohen's level as a business person successfully, you don't want to be embarrassed. And I was very curious how he would react. It wasn't immediate. Which I think is smart. He mulled it over for a couple of days. He spoke to people I'm sure he trusts, like Stearns and others. And he said, all right, we got to do a lot. And credit to them for doing a lot because they had to.
BT and Sal on the Fan.